All right, I will call the meeting to order, 7:32. Do we have any public participation? Cheyenne, anything from you?
Hey, how's everyone? It's Cheyenne. So the only update I got for you is I did a food count finally. Finally, I know it took forever, but through the end of February, we collected 7,500 items from the 4 schools.
Wow,
Awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, and that does not include any of the one-offs like the pre-holiday stuff, that Tiana and I did. So none of that at all. If we counted any of that, I mean, I think that the last spring, the winter break when we collected, I don't know if I told you guys, we collected 25 crates of milk.
Wow.
Yeah, so that went to the Grace Everett Pantry. And I got there at 9:30 in the morning. People were been lining up since 5 in the morning in 30-degree weather around the block.
Wow.
So there was definitely a need.
Should definitely share that with Dustin. Maybe that'll help him, I don't know, buy less stuff.
Yeah,
And you said
they have to.
7,500 was through the end of Feb?
Yes. Yeah, I sent him an email already. I'll forward it to you. I just didn't get a chance to, so my apologies on that delay.
That's awesome. Well, I want to post it on our Facebook to celebrate.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll send you the information.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's all I got for now.
Thanks, Cheyenne. All right, moving on to approval minutes from February. Hopefully everybody got a chance to review those. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Sorry, I didn't hear who said so moved. Julie,
Julie.
was that you?
Julie.
Thank you. Second by Robin.
All right. Brown, Tiana,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Stefan,
Yes.
Sharon.
I think I have to abstain because I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is discussion of the MBTA 3A multifamily zoning project and ESC support. So Tiana, I don't know if you have anything to share on the screen or you're just going to be.
Maybe I'll just talk for now and then I can share. It's just in an email. So maybe that's,
Okay.
I'll take that up.
Tiana brought this item forward.
Yes, and I'm happy for input and help from Julie and Robin, since they're even more informed about this than I am, but I thought it was worth bringing to this group. So as you know, because Aaron and the crew brought this to one of our meetings a couple of months ago, the town is considering changes to the zoning to support generally in support of the, solving the housing crisis and the commutability. There's a new law in Massachusetts that MBTA communities, which we are one because we have some fabulous commuter rail stations as well as a bus, need to enable zoning for a certain density of housing within the immediate vicinity of their train stations. Rob and Julie, stop me if I'm sort of munging the words on that, but and so there's a subcommittee tasked with coming up with a map that would accomplish this in the Wakefield town. They've brought that to the planning board, and the planning board is bringing it to town meeting, which is April 29th. April 29th, which is a Monday evening, likely to extend to subsequent meetings because it's an evening weeknight meeting, not a Saturday. So it'll be brought to a town meeting vote, which everyone should come and vote because it's important to come and vote at town meetings. But I thought that it was worth entertaining whether the ESC would do a resolution or a statement in support of it, because of the environmental benefits of having housing stock near to public transit. So I think that the main reasons for having, and I have a draft motion that sort of gets into this, that I'll share in a sec, but generally having more housing available near public transit, near the trains and the buses, helps people commute by those modes rather than driving single occupant vehicles. And having that situated near the downtown also supports folks living where they are walkable to stuff, right? Walkability to stuff reduces people driving to stuff. And, generally that is, favorable for the environment. So that's the preamble. Should I show the wording of the motion and then we can talk about it? I don't know what the appropriate order of operations is for that.
Well, typically you motion, you get a second motion, then there's a discussion on the motion.
Okay, great. Well then.
That would be
let-
my suggestion.
Okay,
100%.
perfect. I'm trying to put this into a fresh document that is not my email to the subcommittee saying, here's some draft wording. So let me make it big enough to be visible on a screen. And can I share my screen? Oh, I even can. So can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So I move that we adopt this motion, this statement on behalf of the ESC as seen on your screen.
Tiana,
Yes.
I support, this statement. However, I am concerned about the details of their proposal. And some of the implications around the types of housing that would be built. In general, I think I support density of housing around, public transportation in the town center. I think it makes sense from just a practical, level. But I am, I was honestly just speaking with my husband, who's an architect, and he has been attending a couple of these meetings, and was just wondering, due to the parcel size, we would not be like, and the requirements for parking, that we would end up building these structures where it's like, that don't look like the kind of buildings that have been presented in the presentation. They're going to be very tall, and narrow, I think, to accommodate the number of parking spaces. Maybe that's changed, but from my understanding, there needs to be some guidance in terms of, the structure, I'm actually not not doing a great job at explaining this, but without like specific guidance about how we want these buildings to look and feel, we might end up with some things that are not really in line with the town's character, and may look, like, Julia, I don't know if you can explain better, but I think because we had a conversation about this, when we went out to dinner.
Yeah, and I think Robin, as the architect, may have some better. I know we talked about it briefly. My husband's an architect too.
So actually, I
Um,
have a point of order. So we have a motion on the table. I did not hear a second before we do a discussion.
Oh, I'll second
Oh,
it.
okay, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
thank you. Nope, I just want to,
Thank you, Robin. Appreciate it.
But and I
Uh,
think, I mean, I think that some of that is just because they're 4,000 square feet lots, and there's going to be requirements for 1.5 parking per unit. I mean, the limit is 3 stories, which is what it is now, so it won't be like they're any higher than what is currently allowed.
Mhm.
But I'm not an architect, so I don't know how all of those kind of setbacks, and I mean, is the concern that they'll be like boxy?
Yeah, they'll be like these boxy structures that, because they're trying to fit that many parking spaces into a parcel that's, a certain size. And
4,000 square feet's like a tenth of an acre, right? So, I mean, does that sound right? So that's a tiny lot, it's a postage
Mhm.
stamp. And so there is no way you'd have to have a boxy, especially with a 7-foot setback, I think is the town requirement. There should be no structure 7 feet. So garage, house, otherwise within the edge of the road. So the parcel allotment is so tiny. On a tenth of an acre, I don't even know how you'd fit a 3-story building that also has 1.5, with its electric spaces, right? That would be tight.
Mhm.
so I guess to speak to the aesthetic, Wakefield does not have any regulations today or proposed that manages or controls aesthetics. You can, boxy is subjective and can be done at will. So the outcome, we have no idea, no way predicting other than seeing what others are doing today in terms of aesthetics. So,
Right,
so
I understand that, but I
just, so just as a heads up that
yeah,
there are forms and shapes and cantilevers and so forth, that folks can creatively work with or not, at their choice, because we don't have a means of having real conversations on an aesthetic if the town chooses to have conversations
correct.
about.
There's no regulation on aesthetics.
Yes, and
Yes,
that's not true in other communities, so I'm not saying it couldn't be a future.
right.
So the comments, so yes, Julie's right that the height restrictions are equal there is to today. Just like today, the parcels that are within the overlay, many of them allow 2 units and they're single family houses in it. So by right, folks can already double the units and double therefore the parking requirements if they choose, but they haven't yet. So just to be mindful, we're not going from a limit of 1 family and jumping to 4. And the regs are not written such that every parcel within the zone could have 4, because we're saying it's up to 4 if you can meet all the other zoning requirements. So it gets really to understand what a town would be the potential. You'd have to go parcel by parcel, all the setbacks and the rules, and figure out what massing could be. It would be a urban planning exercise. How we got to where we are is that the state came up with a spreadsheet that talks about land area and parcels and quantity, and that's how we get to the number of units. So it's not to say every parcel in the overlay would be able to do 4 by right. So,
Right, like my lot is too small. I'm even postage stampier than 4,000 square feet, so like you couldn't put
yeah,
a,
potentially I don't know the dimensions and have to spend a minute looking at it. It may be
Yeah.
right, only go up to
I-
2 or something. So,
So one suggestion maybe is, do we need to have 1.5, parking spaces per, is it?
That-
per-
so the 1.5 came
We have it
from,
want to be 1?
it was the town traffic, Julie, were you at that meeting? The traffic advisory committee. It was asked of how they felt of support of going down to one. And it was my understanding that it was in those discussions that the rules said match what the rest of the current rules are, which is 1.5. Right, Julie?
I wasn't at that meeting. I mean, I think the current rule is 1.5 for 1 and 2 bedroom units and 2 for 2 bedroom units. I think that's the current, so actually it's a little under what the current zoning is if
Okay.
you incorporated a larger unit, but it's fairly consistent with what is there now. Believe me, I would have gone for 0 parking, but parking is, as we all know,
Well, they'll be EV ready, or they'll be
yeah,
EV.
well, if it's a new
Parking.
structure, it will have to be EV ready.
I think in order to, yeah, for every new structure, it needs to comply with the stretch code now, which includes the 1.5
Right?
spaces per unit, right? So then I don't think we could even go down to 1 because we need to comply with the stretch code, right? For new buildings.
Right, so the question would be how many of these would be new buildings and how many would be treated as renovations of existing buildings?
Yeah.
To the extent there's an existing building there that they're going to just modify. So.
And they
Um,
could still be subject depending on the level of the renovation, right? So if it's a complete and total, like pull it down to the studs kind of thing and then renovate it, it may still need to meet some regulation for that.
I don't think there's a requirement to have EV, I mean. If for the stretch, per the stretch code, if you choose a fossil fuel pathway, then you have to be solar ready. I don't think there's a requirement and you have to be ready to electrify, but I don't think there's a requirement that you have to have so many.
I think there
EV
is
charging.
in the regular stretch code.
In the regular stretch code, I think there
The
is.
one that we're in right now is the regular stretch code. The specialized is on top of that.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I'm just concerned about, the number, just kind of trying to fit these parking spaces into these lots and then coming out with some kind of like just having unintended consequences of what the buildings will look like and how they will be, the structures themselves. So I'm concerned about that. And I know, and I think that, the photos of what examples of multifamilies in the presentation, I don't think that they're representative of the kinds of buildings that will be coming out of this based on the the guidelines. So
Sharon, just to go back to your point, so the optimized stretch code, just like pulled up a Q&A, unless I'm reading this wrong fast, well, may not apply to if there was a new structure built under this zoning because it is for multifamily housing 4 stories and above. And we're saying our proposed zoning is 3 stories max. Also, I guess that's the big thing is that so multifamily 4 stories above, and so we're saying 3 stories. So and then also if a one home, so one likely dwelling unit they mean is over 4,000 square feet. So that isn't the type of housing that this is the criteria for. Just so, unless I'm missing something.
so when Stefan said that there would be EV charging chargers required for each of those
I'm
parking
looking
spaces, is that
I don't know.
accurate?
I'm quickly scanning it. I'm not sure that it would apply.
I didn't think it would apply, but. So I just.
So yeah, I mean, there's a couple of different things. There's you know, we can support the plan as put forth by the planning board. We can support a plan in general, which it sounds like, I mean, I think the discussion in town is, do you kind of build a plan with more density around Wakefield Center, which helps with economic development? Or do you do a much more limited, you know, kind of compliance only plan? Neither of those plans address what you're talking about, Sharon, right? In fact, I believe that the citizen warrant that is out there for a much more limited plan wants to go back up to 2 parking spaces per. I think they're actually asking for more parking. So this particular, you know, and I don't think any of the plans right now kind of deal with a plan that would address the aesthetics, other than voting down a multifamily overlay district completely, and then of course being out of compliance and breaking the state law. So it's, you know, I just wanted to put that out there.
So is there any opportunity to change or make adjust the proposal, or at least on the parking? Or is
Yeah,
it
I
too
mean,
late?
we can stand up and, you know, anybody can stand up and make an amendment to the proposal. And say, you know, we want to go down to one parking space per unit. Which will be a max of 3 rather than a max of 5.5. And I don't know what they do with halves. Robin, what do you do with halves? Do you go up or down?
It depends on what type of rule it is usually. So, when I do plumbing, I round up because you can't do it. You want to make sure you meet the minimum. So in parking, I would assume you round up. So if it was 1.5, we go up to 2. Sharon, because optimized stretch code may not apply because we don't exceed 4 stories, then the EV charging wouldn't apply. I did misread it. The 4,000 is total building size, but if I'm reading the story limit, that's why the optimized would not, these units would not have to follow it.
Okay,
But I'm reading it really quickly, but I think that's.
okay. Well, I mean, my point was just not about the optimized stretch code.
Yep.
I think that was Stefan's point, but my point was about the number of parking spaces. I think it's too many for.
Yeah, I tried to propose that if they allowed for bike parking or EV bike, you know, or electric bike charging, that there would be some, you know, less parking would be required, but that did not get any traction. I think
So
it's
it's
gonna,
actually, it's one EV parking spot for dwelling units up to 4,000 square feet. Is the stretch code.
so 1 out of 3 to 5. If these were 3 families, right?
I mean, I know I'm sorry, I don't mean to tie this meeting up. It's not really about the stretch code in my mind. It's about like the number of spaces, and I feel like it's too many for this, for buildings of this size, for this size lot. I don't know if anything can be done about it, but
Well,
I can't, I'm just concerned about the
So-
current proposal, so.
so what Julie's right is it can be amended on the floor of the town meeting. So when presented, someone
Okay.
could motion to ask that it get reduced to 1. There would have to be a second, then there would be
Uh-huh.
discussion on the motion to amend the parking spaces. If accepted, then that warrant article would be amended, further discussed, and then assumed to be voted up or down.
But what do you all think about that?
I think if you were to, whether it's the right thing to do or not, if it was to be reduced to 1, the entire warrant article would fail on that issue alone. The recount that I heard of from the traffic and the public discussion I've heard, people are worried about too many cars parked on the street. And it sounded like from safety folks that there was concern about just making it harder for life safety vehicles to get down streets. So pushing cars into lots is their preference. The logistics of finding places to park on these lots, if you need more, because you've increased the units. I mean, living within the overlay, people have a variety of creative ways in what they do with their cars. And I think the future would just continue that variety of ways that people deal with their cars. We'd like to think that that in the future, there's lots of options to keep people from all having cars, but I acknowledge that we're 2 adults, 2 cars, so I can't say that people won't have, the cars.
Right, but isn't the purpose of the density, around public transportation is that people will use,
Yeah, absolutely.
be
Yeah. I mean,
encouraged to not use their cars or have more,
yes. Yep.
so,
Yeah, and just because you have the cars doesn't mean that you use them every day. So if you're able to keep the cars parked more than use, then we all benefit from it.
Mm.
Which is how we operate. 4 days a week I take the train. So
Yeah, I think having anything less than 1.5 is going to be a very hard sell, as much as I would love it.
okay.
I think it would fail pretty quickly on the floor.
The entire warrant or just the motion?
I think the motion would just, yeah, I don't think it would bring down the whole thing. I mean, I think if it got through as an amendment, there would be enough people there then that would vote for it as the whole thing. It really, you never know. It just ends up it just is who shows up. I mean, I think we could even say this, we, the environmental sustainability, support the proposed overlay. And we could say we support the location in the district to encourage walking, biking, and other transit. We support the intention to increase density. Without further exacerbating the climate. I mean, we could even say something in there that was like, we could say something about parking that's not kind of super committal, right? Like, while we would like to see less parking, we believe this is an important first step towards building density and reducing car usage, or something like that. It's not going to change kind of how buildings are built, but just because it's pretty loosey-goosey, but I think it throws down a gauntlet, right? That says,
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the unintended consequences of what, of fitting too many parking spaces into a very small, parcel, and what that might, it's just the structures that are gonna come out of this will be, not what people are intending. But you know what, I'm just one person here, so, if you,
yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. I think, yeah, I mean, I've been involved in this for, a year or so, and I definitely tried to get less parking. I think at this point we need to pass this just to be in compliance with the law, and then we
Yeah.
need to continue to work on getting people out of their cars for sure. And remember, this nobody expects that, like, the day after this passes that every lot will turn over. This is simply a capacity. And so, 10 years on, 15 years on, I don't know. I guess you'd have to change the zoning, but like maybe there'll be less need for it. I don't know.
I agree with you, Julie. And I would add that the state rule is all about housing units. It does not dictate how we deal with parking. So if the town, upon further reflection after town meetings, if this were to pass, wants to reconsider the parking regulations, I believe we're in full right to do that and not lose our compliance with the state. So there, we have a timetable to pass the housing unit rules. And by doing that, we have to set something about parking, but, the
Yeah,
date
they-
to
and
revisit the
Robin-
parking, yeah.
You're right. They
Well-
don't care what happens about parking.
Would we actually be able to revisit the parking town-wide, not specifically
course,
as
any
pertains to
zoning
the
is-
overlay?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
could be a townwide thing that would change then this overlay.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't think it's such a bad idea to kind of add at the end something about, you know, this is a good first step towards. I mean, you already have the walking, biking and other transit in there. Maybe there's something to add.
I think you, Robin, point of order, can I just add stuff since I'm the one who made this motion, or do we need to make a motion to amend the motion?
No, I believe you can have a working to rewrite, then we would motion to support the new one, because we're still in discussion mode, so we're discussing the word parsing, I believe is.
Yeah,
within the realms
as
of-
long as you take it as a friendly amendment, Tiana.
I sure do. I take it as a very friendly amendment, Julie. Go ahead.
I love friendly.
Reduce the housing. price
What
up.
what you just said, Julie, was, I think was. I don't know if you could recite what you just said.
Repeat it. While.
Well, we
Let me
hope
just say, like,
to,
you know, while we would prefer fewer required parking spaces, we think this is a good first step. Toward demonstrating. This is a good first step toward,
reducing vehicle.
yeah, reducing the need for vehicles by increasing density near economic.
I mean, we already say that without reliance on.
We kind of say it above it, yeah, so we might have to replay it. In particular, we support the location. Without reliance, how about with reduced reliance, yeah. Encourage walking, biking and other transit with,
Yeah, reduce reliance.
by reducing reliance. And thus reducing reliance or something.
Yeah,
I think that might actually just do it.
Well, but that doesn't say anything about, we wish there were fewer parking.
Right, that's reducing reliance, you know. You could say even their comment, although we would like, you know, all the, or we could say like, we, you know, we hope in the future, I don't know. We hope this demonstrates.
Do you want to say something straight up about revisiting parking requirements?
I
Yeah,
mean, but this is
In-
already a reduction of what we already have, right?
yeah, it's a 0.5 reduction on units over 2 bedrooms.
So I mean,
So
we're
I really
moving in
do
the
like the
right,
reducing
we're
the
moving in the right
reliance.
direction.
Yeah, we hope the direction is. We hope we hope the town revisits parking requirements in the future as the need for driving is reduced. I'm okay with that.
In order to preserve green space and trees.
Yeah, I mean, anything that, yeah.
Well,
Well, it's really to optimize, I mean, I
No.
get the design thing, but it's about optimizing. The thing with, I'm reading Page Paradise, and if anybody hasn't read it, it's the best book about how parking explains everything. And it talks about like every time we make these parking minimums, we take away living space from people, which is what you're saying, Sharon, right? We're gonna build, you know. It's parking spaces is taking away living space.
An outdoor space.
and outdoor space.
Maybe we should say that we encourage the town to revisit the parking requirements.
Yeah.
Um. And something, or we encourage the
To
town
further
to
reduce.
further reduce the parking requirements
Yeah.
per, what is it, per unit or investigate? Something like,
To further reduce the parking requirements. And in order to preserve both green space and optimize living space. I think it's throwing down a gauntlet. It may not happen this time. I don't think it will, but I think that this says, this is something, this will be the first time that, it's kind of been murmured. There's lots of towns that are taking away parking minimums. I think it's coming, maybe not here in the next year or two, but it's coming.
Somerville's doing it tonight.
Are they?
Mhm.
and maybe we
can-
don't need to say as the need for driving is reduced, just say in the future, in order to both preserve green space and optimize living space or something. I don't know.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah,
I like it.
you can get rid of them both there. In order to preserve green space, optimize living space.
I'm good, but other people should, talk.
No, you removed the thing that I was gonna suggest editing, so in it, I think it's better because it streamlined the whole sentence, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay, thank you for entertaining.
No, thank you, Sharon, for
My
bringing it up.
concern, and I know
I
I
think it's a
wasn't very
better,
artic-
I think it's a better statement.
Mhm.
I like it.
Okay, I was not, I had a hard time getting it out, so thank you.
I think the only sort of nugget of this that's been also a subject of discussion is just whether the zone should be just around the Wakefield Center, Wakefield downtown area, or split between Wakefield downtown and Greenwood. From my perspective, having it centered solely around the center is more appropriate for vehicle reduction reasons, because it is actually walkable, to more necessary things like the potentially proposed areas in Greenwood. Still, probably most people would get in their car anyway, because other than the train station, there's not quite enough there to walk to. So that's why I called out specifically the location near Wakefield Center in the proposed
I
motion.
think that makes sense. The other issue that has been contentious is, the number of parcels, I guess, that,
Mhm.
and I don't know if we want to say anything about that, but or just leave it.
I think we essentially do by saying we're supporting the planning board's
Supporting-
plan.
Yeah, okay.
But people should understand that before they,
Yeah.
before they vote on that. So the planning board's plan is going over and above what the compliance map shows.
Mhm.
Whereas there are some people who want kind of just the bare minimum, which would it's unclear what the final map would be, but it would likely strip away the area around the downtown economic center and keep it much tighter around the train track.
So is there, I know that's been a big point of contention. Is there any movement towards some kind of compromise or no? Are we, or
I have not seen any of the kind of competing maps, but I think it's likely to come. I think it's likely to come down to a compromise, which is why even if we support this, I think that this kind of says, we could always go back and say, not us, but like in general in town meeting, people could say it. But I think this kind of raises it up that we like the part around Wakefield Center. There are other places that you could keep parts around Wakefield Center and strip off other parts and still be closer to compliance.
Mhm.
So no, I don't know what all the alternative maps, and I'm not even sure on the floor they're gonna be able to look at alternative maps. It may well be that we discuss it on this town meeting and that alternative maps come back in the fall. So it may not even be decided at this town meeting.
Mhm. Okay.
All right, motion to approve this statement of support.
We already have it on the floor, right? Or we already have a motion?
I think it would be good for us to,
We have a motion to approve.
we have a motion to approve this. Do we have a motion to, of the amended statement? Do we need one? I don't.
Not if Tiana took it as a friendly amendment.
Okay,
Right,
then
I
it-
took
then
all of that
let's roll
commentary as
call.
friendly.
Okay, so we can vote now.
Unless there's any other discussion, yeah.
Any other discussion? All right. Going around. Tiana,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Stefan,
Yes.
Christina.
Yes.
All right. Statement passes and yeah, I think we can post this and maybe send it to Aaron.
So last time we did something like this, which was I think for the energy park, whoever typed it sent it to me. I put it on letterheadish, and then it was posted that way. So
I will send it your way at the conclusion of the meeting. Thank you.
All right. Next up is updates from subcommittees. So first, waste reduction. We are going to be participating in the April Sustainability Recycling event that Representative Flipper Garabedian is organizing. We are going to be collecting plastic pet food packaging and also batteries at our table. So spread the word, start collecting, getting together those items.
What kind of batteries? You just might want to be specific because different types of batteries can be recycled in different ways. And if we just say batteries, people might bring us car batteries,
Not car
and
batteries.
AAA batteries.
No, not car batteries. I can get the list.
Great, thank you.
I think it's just alkaline and the small batteries, but I'll get the details. And we'll also be raffling off a rain barrel that DPW is giving us. So hope you guys can come and get rid of some of your stuff for recycling. It would be great to have one person help out for the second shift. So the timing is 10 to 1. So Lily and I will be there in the beginning. If somebody could come for the 11:30 to 1 time frame, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Awesome.
And I'll get you all the tablecloth and stuff.
Yeah, I'll get all the
beforehand.
stuff from you beforehand. All right, the other big news is we're going to be starting to compost lunch trays in the elementary schools that we currently have composting starting next week. So a bunch of us will be going into the schools to help them with this new process, and it's going to greatly reduce the amount of trash that they have in the lunchroom. So it's pretty exciting. And I think that's pretty much it for what we have going on in waste reduction. Community engagement.
Yes. We engaged the kindergarten through 4th grade set today and all their parents and guardians at the Galvin STEAM event. It was super fun. We had a few things going on. We had what are the most earth-friendly ways to commute to school? So there was both a poll where folks could indicate for their elementary school what mode of transportation they take to school, and they could rank the modes of transportation on how earth-friendly they are. It led to some really good conversations, including some other ways folks think about what earth-friendly means, including one kid who said that electric cars go too fast and they make him nauseous, so that's not earth-friendly. But we had a lot of really good conversation, and then we also were giving away native seeds. We had a bunch of little seed packets from, oh, I don't remember where that was from.
I don't know. I picked them up, I think, at the Medford.
Grow native.
Yeah.
So we had a
Forget
whole
there's
bunch of
another word.
seeds. Folks are really excited to take a bunch of seeds. We have a bunch of them left, so we'll probably bring them to
We
or
could
the
give them out
recycling
at
event.
yeah,
Or whenever next other, I'll tell you in a sec about other tabling opportunities. We talked a little bit about how to pack a lunch that doesn't have as much single-use plastic. We just had a great time, a lot of excited kids. And I pet a frog. So it was all good time had by all.
We also got a couple parents somehow didn't know the town had composting they could sign up for and participating, and claims that they've never seen the green buckets around. And they don't live far from me, so I'm not quite sure how they miss it. But anyways,
now
he
they
wasn't
know.
opposed to the idea, and so hopefully we'll get a few folks to sign up from it.
Yeah, and we got some good comments from kids about composting already happening in their schools. So there was some conversation around that as well. So that was a good event. Excited to be there.
yeah, it'd be good to see that data that you're collecting for how they get to school.
Yes, I will tally it up and share it. It was a little scattered. And then we have a couple other tabling opportunities that I wanted to bring up to start getting, because it's going to be summertime and folks are going to be going away. So we want to see who will be available. So Festival by the Lake is June 8th, 10 to 4. So that's a big, long time. So we definitely need a bunch of people. So I'm curious if anyone knows that they will be available June 8th. That's a Saturday. Is that a
Usually.
Saturday?
Yes, I don't know.
So I would love to know if folks know now that they would like to participate at our table for that. I would love to grab some names.
Yeah, I can help out.
I can help out as well.
I won't be a member anymore, but I am happy to help out.
You're an honorary member.
We'll be happy to have
I'm
you.
still coming, even if I'm not like an official. I'll just
Good.
have to talk at public, I won't be able to talk as much.
Anyone
Julie,
else?
I think we may have a open, seat,
do have a- we do have
at
an
some
open-
point, so.
We did, but I didn't apply for this, because then it would have been weird, I would have had to vote on myself. But once I'm off of council, then I'll apply for the next open seat.
Sounds great. All right.
But yes, I would love to help out on June 8th, I'm around.
Beautiful. And we'll coordinate more closer to then. And then we also wanted to have a table at one of the farmers markets. And when the committee looked at dates, we thought that June 22nd was a really good farmers market to attend. It happens to also be the Strawberry Festival. So we think it'll be an especially fun farmers market. So if anyone is around on June 22nd, that's 9 to 1 and would like to raise your hand to be at our table, we would love to have you.
And I need confirmation from the market manager still, but so that is
Oh,
a
yes.
tentative.
Tentative, pencil in the Strawberry Festival.
I'll be out of town, unfortunately.
I'll be there.
I can probably help out. I'm usually there for the bike valet anyway.
I was gonna say you can bike valet and table.
As long as they put the table by the bike valet.
You might know somebody, deals with tables, so.
Lily, you came off mute. Was that because you're going to volunteer?
I was gonna say, I don't think I can do the 22nd, but if you need more bodies on the 8th, I can probably do sometime then.
Sounds good. Great. Cool. So those are our upcoming tabling things. We're also gearing up for doing some set of things around Earth Day. So if folks have any particularly good ideas for Earth Day things that we could do, they'll certainly be, I'm even wearing my shirt, the Wakefield Warrior cleanup They're doing a trash pickup around the Galvin in support of Earth Day, sometime near Earth Day. So we'll certainly cross promote that and encourage you all to attend, but we
It's
should do,
on, April 27th.
thank you. But we thought maybe we would do something from our committee as well on Earth Day. So want to put it out there for if anyone has ideas.
Oh, I would add that the theme this year, so the folks that create a
yes.
theme internationally is focused on plastics. So if that is inspiring on ideas.
Try not to use plastic at all on Earth Day.
Hmm.
Zero trash.
I wonder whether we try to do something with the new water truck somewhere. I don't know. Hi, Russell.
I'm
Is that
back.
Russell? Oh, good. I don't know. We could think of that. I do know that, I guess when we give our update on the climate stuff, like we're gonna try to kind of push the town council to start looking at the climate plan and use Earth Day as a hook for that as well. That's less public stuff.
Yeah, and we'll certainly do posts, like lots of organizations do lots of interesting social media stuff around Earth Day, and we can certainly, repost good things that we see, but folks had other more hands-on ideas, wanted to pull for that.
Yeah, if any of the students hear of anything that's going on, we should definitely.
Will there be a cleanup of some sort or?
Yeah, that's happening. The Wakefield Warrior cleanup crew is doing a cleanup on, Melissa, you said the
April
27th,
27th.
April 27th. So we'll support that, but it seemed like we shouldn't do our own cleanup.
Usually Friends of the Lake do lunch too.
Mm.
I think we should encourage people to either have zero trash or use no plastic that day, or make a pledge to make one switch from using, whatever plastic item they are using.
No plastic bottle water. That'll be hard.
Is it a Saturday? What day is it? What is it? The 22nd?
Yeah,
It's a Monday.
Monday.
It is a Monday, the 22nd.
Yeah.
I get that, but.
Well, I don't want to take too much more of the meeting time, but feel free to send ideas my way and we'll bring it to the next subcommittee meetings coming up. So thank you for the ideas on anti-plastic things. Julie, Robin, anything else that I've missed? Still trying to do a bee thing, but that'll be later in the spring. Alrighty.
You do all the work. It's great. Thank you.
All right, next is Climate Action Plan Subcommittee. So we had a meeting this week to discuss other climate plans from other towns and cities that we've been reviewing, to kind of see if there's any trends or anything that, any good ideas that we could implement in our plan. So it was good to see that there was, kind of a lot of trends, including creating a climate action plan committee that would be kind of, different departments and town staff and community members kind of all coming together for creation and implementation of the plan. And there was a climate leaders webinar today from DOER that I got to see the last half of, and they did put out the grant for the decarbonization roadmap, and I sent I sent the subcommittee an email, but I think one of the things that they want to see is a commitment from our town leadership on, you know, a climate commitment, basically. So Julie, I don't know your thoughts on, I mean, the grant is due, the application's due April 12th, so.
Well, the planning application is due April 12th. Right?
you-
To get the planning grant.
Right, which includes that commitment. That's one of the criteria.
Oh, I thought it was just, I was half listening to it. All right, I'm gonna work on it.
Then you guys, I sent you guys the link and the criteria, and that's like the first one.
Okay.
But like, we can't commit the town to that stuff, right? So so like we can, are there even meetings for other committees to get us to the point where we can make the submission by the 12th?
Well, the biggest thing that we need from the town leadership is their commitment to move forward with this and, you know, have a climate commitment. That's the first criteria.
This is where they'll assign us a consultant,
Yeah.
right? To work with us on all the on all the.
Yeah.
components.
To create the roadmap, yeah.
By the 12th.
I'm gonna talk to Steve because it said the senior executive. Or
Yeah,
like the senior. I'm gonna try to figure it out. Stay
Okay.
tuned.
Yeah, if you can
Me-
get it, that would be awesome.
it could be the town council president, I don't know.
Right, or chair.
It's not clear.
Yeah, let me, I'm gonna look at it more closely and I will come up with a plan.
All right.
But yes, I'm very focused on that on April 12th date.
Okay.
There's 2 town council meetings before that, so I'm gonna come up with a plan.
Yeah, and the other criteria was the
I took a
data,
screenshot of it. I can,
data around facilities, which I don't know if that we already have that information from the green communities.
I took a screenshot. This is, letter of commitment from the CEO of the town
Yeah,
to meet climate leader community requirements within 1 year of the technical assistance award. Documentation that the municipality has established an energy committee and or partnership with the community energy organization to address clean energy and climate issues, and attach minutes from the most recent meeting, so we have that.
Mhm.
And then gathered pertinent information on
Yeah.
most of our facilities.
right. So I didn't know if we had that information already from the green.
And
I think we do in our energy insight
Yeah.
database.
Yes, so
um,
I think the biggest thing with this grant is that commitment.
And if
Yeah,
we miss
so-
the cutoff, when's the next one?
I
I
think
mean,
this
it's not
is,
like a full year, right?
I don't know if there's another one.
Meaning it's not an annual thing. If we miss this one, we miss it permanently.
I think they are going to have it be annual, but there might be some tweaks based on the first round,
Okay,
but,
I mean, this is the first time they're doing this, so.
okay.
right.
we'll-
And, but they
And this
didn't give
gets us-
another date as to like when the next one would be, but
So getting this planning grant would then help us get ready to apply either for the July, whatever, 25th or December 31st round.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we would have to do the decarbonization roadmap, so I don't know how long that would take.
Probably December 31st is more realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this is how it would work, you know, if once we would get the grant, they would assign us to a consultant, and then within 30 days, we would meet with them, and then within 90 days.
Yeah.
We'd have to develop the roadmap. And then we're committing to meet the requirements within 1 year of the technical assistance award, so.
Did you take a screenshot of the net zero over life chart that they had? The one that like as things need to be replaced.
oh, yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
Oh, and just so one of the requirements is a snapshot of this mass energy insight,
Which
data.
because we're an MLD, we have a lot of this information
Okay.
pretty easily available.
Yeah,
Yes, so here's the, no, I did take a snapshot, sorry.
So impressed.
They're
There,
gonna
this,
be-
Here it is.
there it is. The trigger event worksheet. Next sheet.
So this net zero overtime approach uses triggering events. So like, if the HVAC equipment is end of life, then you would replace it. It's not something, so you don't have stranded assets, basically. So they have.
I think this is what's gonna be compelling from a budget and a
yeah,
town council standpoint. This is where I wanna kind of lean in on this. That shows that this is a roadmap. This is not putting money into things before the time. It's not, like you said, stranded assets. It's a thoughtful roadmap towards decarbonization.
Mm-hmm.
and this is just for municipal operations.
Right.
Yes.
The roadmap is just municipal, so, you know, Sharon, I saw you ask the question about doing the roadmap and the climate action plan at the same time. She was like, if you have the bandwidth, yeah, but,
But
I
she
think
recommended we
her
do the
answer made
roadmap.
sense to prioritize the roadmap since it is part of the climate leaders criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, and this is the other requirement, we have to be a green community in good standing and have, the fiscal 23 annual report submitted. We already talked about the local body sustainability committee that advises the municipality. We have that. Commit to eliminating on-site fossil fuel by 2050.
Right, so that's that commitment I was talking about.
Yep, and then adopt the net zero vehicle first policy, and then adopt a specialized,
Yeah.
opt-in code. But, one thing that was interesting to me about this was this, the focus on eliminating on-site fossil fuels. Everybody has to use the same baseline 2022 emissions. They want to be able to do apples to apples comparisons.
I mean, that's the year of our greenhouse gas inventory, so.
Is it? Oh, good.
Yeah, I actually think that works pretty well for us.
Okay, good. All right.
All right.
Well, I can send you, they're gonna make the presentation
post it.
available, I think, later in a few
Yeah.
days, so, but I just wanted to.
So yeah, Julie, let me know, what you think is the best approach to,
All right. I need to give it some thought.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, great. Stefan, I don't know if you have started your green space subcommittee.
No, we haven't had an inaugural meeting yet, so we should probably discuss the April timeframe for that.
Okay.
But yeah, with no new information.
All right. And last is green business.
Yeah, so we've been working on the plan for the sort of new approach to the green business. We've got a meeting this coming Monday with Anne at the DPW about ways in which the town can sort of more structurally support the program. Christina, Julie, anything else?
No, just to add more detail, we kind of refined it and defined the Wakefield, green business certification program, and we kind of came up with the phases and nailed that down a little bit more.
All right. So we don't have school committee,
No, actually, I have an update. She sent me a note.
okay,
Anne said, sorry, I can't attend. Her update is they have a new they have a science curriculum update coming March 26th meeting. So if you're interested in learning what's discussed, attend the school committee meeting.
okay. Russell, Nathaniel, do you have any updates for us or anything you want to share?
I think the only thing is today I had the second meeting of the Galvin Green team, and there was not great turnout just because there was another event that I forgot that was happening when I scheduled it. So we're gonna try one more time to publicize it before we get more members. But yeah, I think what we're gonna try to do is once we have members, we're gonna probably make a list of recyclable items in the cafeteria, and then we will have a meeting with the principal based off of that list about like basically where to get resources, how to expand the list so that there are more recyclable and compostable items in the lunchroom. So yeah, that's basically what started today.
Awesome.
Are they using the compostable trays there as well?
It's there in every school.
Yeah, I think I
All the more
forget.
reason to start composting.
Yeah, I think they're compostable.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're in every school.
All right, well, let us know how we can help with getting you started with composting. The trays are such a huge volume of stuff.
Yeah, because everything it's in the cafeteria too, but also in the classroom. Like in the classroom, they have recycling, but I've been to like after school clubs, and I think most of the time it doesn't get emptied into a separate recycling bin. It just gets emptied back into the trash, like the main trash bin. So then the classroom recycling is also pointless.
Well, I think the paper recycling in the classrooms is actually happening, and I've seen
Yeah.
the
Yeah, it's
volunteers.
paper recycling, but it's not like anything else. It's just
Right.
paper.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Russell, do you have anything?
No, I think we're
All right. Anne cannot make it. Julie, anything from town council?
We passed the bicycle pedestrian plan after 3 years.
Yay.
So, that's exciting. I think other than that, nope, other than getting to work on this climate leader issue.
On the DPW side, rain barrel sales are going on right now.
Yeah,
And community garden, I don't know if that's through the DPW, maybe it
that's
isn't.
through the recreation department. I don't know.
Okay,
There's
no.
still
Community
open.
garden applications are open, I think, for another week or two.
I will say that we had the DPW budget on the agenda on Monday night, and there's always lots of talk about the price of trash. Two things: the price of trash and the price of snow removal. Everybody's super excited the price of snow removal has gone down. I think it just means the price of other things are probably going to go up, but we can have our moment of being excited about less snow removal costs. And but the price of it's just every year there's a budget warrant at town meeting for trash, and I actually like that they pull it out separate from the budget so that people can see it. It hasn't gone up a whole lot, but they're expecting it to pretty significantly go up in 2 years when we renegotiate the full contract. And so there's going to be some thinking about how in the interim we may be able to kind of lower what actually goes into the trash stream. So just, a kind of an opportunity for this committee to look at reduced waste. There also is a citizen warrant for trash pickup at multifamily units, which I know many of us.
And it wasn't even
recycling.
from me. It
Work
wasn't
that
mine.
completely came out of the blue. So it's gonna be an interesting discussion there.
Have we seen it? Oh, it's not published yet.
I don't think it's published yet. It probably will be published in like a week or so.
Okay. Just
Um,
put it out there. I may very well come back to this group for a motion in support of that. If we think it's a good idea, once we actually get to see it and see how it's
yeah,
it's framed.
it was kind of brought up during the DPW discussion on the budget, just how much it would raise the budget for waste pickup. So it'll be a budgetary discussion, but I think it's gonna be, I love citizen warrants. It's the best part of town meeting. You get to see what people care about.
I'm going to the Mass Recycle conference this coming Tuesday, and there are some different vendors and stuff there who do other sorts of pickup to reduce your trash. I don't know what the cost, like, I will try to bring back some info to share with DPW and others, but there's a group that does compostables and plastics that they together mix those into something. And there's some other group that does food stuff in package. So stay tuned.
And knowing about things like that are really great because we can work with the DPW the next time they go out to bid in 2 years when the whole contract comes up. And we did this last time. We kind of put like nice to have, like to have things into the bid, and sometimes they work out. Sometimes you can find somebody to do them. So we definitely need to kind of be paying attention to this waste issue. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Sharon, anything from WMGLD?
I just want to mention that WMGLD and met with the Wakefield Public Schools Superintendent's Office, and there were other entities there, including the facilities director for Wakefield Public Schools and some of the school committee members and town council was present, and I'm trying to think who else was there, DPW, and to talk about the energy reduction plan for the town, and in particular talk about the schools that are up for major investments for
Is
heating and
that the
cooling.
Green Communities energy reduction? Plan?
Yes, the Green
Okay.
Communities Energy Reduction Plan for the town. And so we had some good discussion, and the focus was on Dolbear and Woodville being the two schools that are up for
HVAC.
investment, and then also large consumers of energy, in particular gas. So the next step is to WMGLD is going to take the step of providing a more detailed audit for those two schools. And there was some discussion about, and then following those audits, there'll be a follow-up meeting with this group. And then there's some discussion about applying for grants this fall for those investments, and then updating the ERP in terms of the goals and planned investments. And I think that is on the DPW to update the ERP.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all part of the Green Communities plan, so we should be going out for those grants for the Green Communities.
And the good news is that there's no emergency, like, it's not like we have a few more years. I mean, left, so it's not like we can plan for this. These investments and apply for the grants. It's not like, so we have a little bit of time to do this. It's not, so. I think
Yeah,
that,
Julie, which school was it that just replaced, was it Woodville?
It
Or
was
was it-
Woodville, and it was, they put a new like roof unit on or something. We talked to them about it. It wasn't it didn't sound to me, Sharon, I don't know, like it was a major thing. And we talked about if they did end up getting kind of heat pumps, if this audit came out and we could do something bigger, they're gonna look at whether they could move that to another place to use it, you know, again, until this kind of end of life thing. But it was a very productive meeting, I thought. This is exactly the kind of thing we want to get to, like with the climate leaders, where we have this whole map, right? This is part of the roadmap. It's when they were talking about the roadmap today in that slide we showed, this is exactly what we talked about. Like, what is the end of life and what are we going to do when it happens? And then how are we going to be ready to apply for some of the grants under green communities to do it?
so, yeah, so, and then I don't think that, was there anything else? So the follow-up meeting is, going to happen sometime in June. And, if you'd like to, you know, attend, we can just, Kara Morrow, the assistant superintendent, is helping to schedule that meeting.
That'd be good. Great.
Sharon, any updates on the community solar program?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I do have the numbers. Let me just. They are basically, they're extending I don't know if you heard, but they're extending the deadline, for sign up, to April 1st. They've made an outreach, a second outreach attempt, to focus on low income customers, because we haven't yet, maxed out the carve out. And there were enough, there was enough interest so that, you know, we'll be fully subscribed, because, either people went for 1 or 5. So the average was 3 kilowatts. So we'll have enough, there's enough interest for that. However, you know, it'll be interesting to see, you know, if we continue, how much interest will, how much demand will, you know, there'll be in for future projects. It's up and running. The facility is live. It was, and there'll be a ribbon cutting ceremony in honor of Ken Chase in sometime in May with his family.
And will it have a dashboard thing that we can watch its output, like there is for the water building? I think you can you
I
can look
believe,
online
yeah,
and
I
see
believe
it's
so.
for those of us who like to spy on solar panels.
If I can try to, if you want, I can try to find the exact number of kilowatts that have been spoken for, but I don't have it in front of me.
That's great news. Glad it's up and running. and that you're pretty much filling the program. All right, thank you. So our next meeting is April 11th. Are there any matters not anticipated? All right, motion to adjourn.
So motioned.
Second.
All right, Tiana,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Lily. Lily?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep. Stefan?
Yes.
All right. Thanks, everyone.